Welcome to Storytelling. This week's guest is a pioneer in purpose-led business. In 2001, he shifted his focus from harmful brands to those with meaningful messages, founded an agency named Creation, and co-founded another agency named Digital. Now he empowers entrepreneurs to thrive through purpose-driven success. Join us as we delve into how prioritizing purpose can revolutionize industries and transform lives. Please welcome Darrell Irwin. Hello, Darrell, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Darrell, one thing that we have in common is our love for storytelling. Can you tell me, what does storytelling mean for you?
So storytelling for me is an interesting one because we know the hero's story. There's a hero and he's on a journey or she's on a journey, and essentially most films, marketing even use that kind of analogy. But I think where storytelling goes to the next level is where you as the individual become the mentor. You become the person that meets them at their point of crisis in the story. And so you are the Obi-Wan Kenobi / Mr. Miyagi type person that helps them on their way and lets the other person be the hero. And I think that a few people are just starting to realize that is a better way of telling stories, particularly in business and in marketing and in journeys. And yeah, that for me, in terms of storytelling, is a more powerful story rather than I'm just a superhero. It's like, no, how can you pass your next skills, talents, and abilities on to the next generation? Because ultimately, we're all living our story, but we've got a generation following behind that needs to learn from our experiences.
So you mentioned that it's really important for business. So how can a business use storytelling to their advantage?
Essentially, everybody is on a journey. And when you look at business has been run around, let's say, however many years you believe the planet is. Let's say 2,000 years of marketing has been flying around, or anything that's been invented has been invented by now. We are moving into the area of AI and that kind of stuff. But for me, the aspects of storytelling for a business is that's their unique thing. It's not their product. It's not their service. The thing that makes the business unique is the story itself. So we've all come from somewhere, which is our past. We're all doing something in the present, and we all have a particular looking future that we're trying to imagine or trying to build. If you can tell a story where the past, the present, and the future are all aligned, that's a really powerful story. And so for me, that's where businesses can really use it to their advantage, is to major on the uniqueness of their particular journey, what they're doing now and where they want to go.
Darrell, can you share your story?
Yeah, I can. So 2001 joins me at a particular point in the story. For most people, it would be the end of the story. I was 27 years old. I was a week away from signing papers to run a marketing agency in London. It was in Notting Hill. They had one in Bristol as well. And essentially, I was going to own 25% of it. They were award winning. All the clients that most people would love to work with, like Stella Screen and the big outdoor cinemas. NTL were launched then, so we helped them launch. Levi's, Virgin Holidays. There's some great clients. Unfortunately, when it comes to owning something, even though you might not work on their client day in, day out, there's a question of legacy. And so within that smorgasbord of wonderful clients, there were some cigarette companies in there and some alcohol companies in there. And you then go, well, hang on a minute. Is this the thing that I really want to be known for? Is this my legacy? Long story short, and it's a deep story, but I was going out with someone who kind of flagged it up and said, is this the kind of legacy you want to build? And I realized, you know what, maybe it isn't. And so then I made a bit of a brave decision. And so what took 10 years to get into that position, I took 10 minutes to destroy it by sitting in the boardroom and saying, I quit. So I literally walked from the opportunity, went on a bit of a journey, which meant helping out on mission trips, traveling the world, doing impactful kind of stuff. And then While I was handing aid out on top of a minibus in Romania, I realized that actually, although this was fun and it was good, it wasn't making best use of my talents and abilities. I don't mind driving miles and handing stuff out, but my marketing brain and my purposeful way of living life, I felt that I could use both of those things together. And so that's what I did. I revisited I was freelancing, but then I thought, no, I can do this for companies with more of a purpose, teach them the tools that all the other people use and help them raise more money and make greater impact. And so that's the beginning of what happened to Creation. We started it in a charity. I took a whole load of volunteers in a charitable organization, trained them up to be an agency, to engage with the community and raise finances for the charity. And then it got too successful to stay within the charitable setup. So in 2016, we came out and essentially we began again with a client list. And much of that team is still with me now today.
That's absolutely amazing. And what would you say is important for your agency now?
Ultimately, it's purpose. It's about helping people discover purpose, helping people align to purpose, and understanding that if you are going to invest the best 5, 10, 15 years of their life, it's got to be the right thing for them. And we ask those kinds of questions that will magnify it, get it under the microscope, and then go, right, look, we go micro and we go macro. Let's go money, no object. Where do you want to be? So big as that. And then let's go right deep down in the heart and see if you're aligned to what you really want to do. And once we've examined the macro and the micro, we then realize that either they're aligned or they're not. I don't know if you heard the analogy. It's quite a famous one, but if you are a plane and you're 1 degree out from your settings, if you keep going forward, you could be 250 miles away from where you were meant to be, traveling at pace and traveling in the wrong direction. It's only subtle, can only be 1 degree. But in life, we could do 10, 15, 20 years and look around and go, oh my gosh, I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be in life because we're not aligned. And I think we get very busy and we don't ask those deeper questions. And that's how we help as an agency is say, let's be purposeful. Are you on purpose? Why are you here? And if you are here now to do what you're supposed to do, what are the blockers? And it might be that their heart's actually not in it and they might need to do something else.
Your story, I'm sure, has inspired a lot of people to literally think about what is it that they really want to do and what is their purpose, as it were, and how to find it. And like what you did, they may have to make a brave decision or two as well.
Yeah, so one of the things we look at, I mentioned the past, present, and future. And the past, for example, we would ask a question like this. What is the thing that you did when you was a child that got you so immersed and so deep in it that you forgot to eat? That's a big clue to actually what you're doing. So for me, it was always telling stories, but I did it with Lego. Yeah. So today, many years on, I'm still telling stories because I absolutely love doing it. And I'm finding out about people's stories, creating stories, whether it be on film, whether it be through websites, whether it be through brand. But I've always done it. And I think there are great clues in our childhood where they naturally come easy to us before we get polluted with, you must do this and you must do this and you need to earn money now. And then we make decisions really that are not heart aligned, they're more head aligned. And I think that's one of the key things we do with our clients and our people is get back to the matters of the heart. You have a mindset to get stuff done. If it is aligned with your heart, then you do powerful stuff.
What advice would you give to someone listening who's decided, you know what, I'm going to start thinking about what my life purpose is? And I know you mentioned thinking about something you were passionate as a child. What other bit of advice would you give to someone?
So one of the things I'd say is what comes naturally. So I can be passionate about football, which I am. I support Liverpool football team. And I'm passionate about that. And I did play lots of football, like crazy amounts of football. I was a coach, never quite made it as a footballer. And the reality of that story is this. I'm more skilled helping people discover purpose and live life on purpose than I am a winger, a midfielder, or a striker. Now, as a kid, because I was passionate, I thought that was enough. You've got to have the skill. So I'd say being passionate isn't enough to live life on purpose. And passion shouldn't be the driver. Passionate about something doesn't necessarily mean you're good at it. It's more, once you discover your purpose, you can become passionate about purpose. Yeah, once you discover what it is, and that's the right way round. So think of the thing that is you can do naturally. It might be that you're naturally can gather people and you can talk to people. You might naturally fix a problem or go straight to the heart of the matter. You might have a natural ability to give insight that no one else can see. Those sorts of things. So pay attention to those. So for me, that's where I would go is don't do what Instagram says, go follow your passion and everything will be okay. No, really go down deep and say, what do you find easy? If you find writing easy, or if you find singing easy, you might be an amazing singer, but singing in the shower is not going to get you noticed, but realize that if you are a good singer, you might, for example, become a producer, not necessarily the front person. If you are purposeful in a career, there are many ways you can execute on that career. So, like, for instance, if it's sports, there are many different roles you can play in sports. I love leadership and learning leadership. And I come to this wrong conclusion when I was very young that if I don't make it as a player in football, I couldn't manage. People like Alex Ferguson and Jose Mourinho weren't terribly great footballers, but were amazing managers. So again, that was an assumption. Whereas now I look back and go, oh, maybe I could have been. I think I'm doing the right thing now anyway. But the point is, for some of us, we convince ourselves out of something without doing enough research and answering questions, and then just taking the easy route in some respect.
I think you've provided some really valuable advice. Darrell, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been really good. I really enjoyed it.
If you would like further details about Darrell, then please follow links in the show notes.